If you drink, don't drive. If you drive, don't drink.
Jeje o.
Make you take am easy.
Na so.
This awareness is brought to you by Radio Afinju.
Ẹ̀gbọ́n báwo la ṣe ṣe lọ́jọ́ ọjọ́ tí ìgbèwé fi dùn lóyin ládùn tá a sì kó àwọn ọgbọ́n ọlọ́kan òjọ̀kan àmọ́ ń pa àlọ́ àpamọ̀ àmọ́ ń pa àlọ́ àpagbè pẹ̀lú oríṣiríṣi ẹwà èdè láti ṣe ìmúpadàbọ̀sípò ẹwà èdè Yorùbá ní rédíò Àfínjú ṣe àgbékalẹ̀ àtẹ àlọ́ ò mọ̀ wáyé lórí rédíò Àfínjú ní gbogbo ọjọ́ àbámẹ́ta táwa látọ́kùn ètò gan Olúwabùkọ́lá Ọláwùmí ìyá ìwé rédíò Àfínjú ọmọ wọn níjẹ̀ṣà òṣèré onílé òbí ọmọ ẹlẹ́ni àtẹ́ẹ̀ka ọmọ ẹlẹ́ni ẹ̀wẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹ̀yin èwe o ẹ pàdé Olúwabùkọ́lá Ọláwùmí ní ọjọ́ àbámẹ́ta ọ̀sẹ̀ yìí ní déédéé aago 12 ọ̀sán ẹ mọ̀ pẹ́ dé o.
When heavy rain begin fall and plenty water full everywhere, dey alert my people, shine your eyes as e dey happen for other places e fit reach your side.
Má ṣe da ìdọ̀tí sójú àgbàrá, gbé ilẹ̀ rẹ fún àwọn ọkọ̀ akólẹ̀.
No go put yourself for danger dey waka for flooded roads.
Gbọ́ o, ǹjẹ́ tó bá rí ẹnikẹ́ni tó hùwà tó lòdì sí òfin àmójútó ìdọ̀tí àti ẹ̀gbin, ẹ fi tó àwọn aláṣẹ létí. Report to the nearest authorities.
Má ṣe da ìdọ̀tí sójú àgbàrá.
Ìlera lọ́rọ̀. This awareness is brought to you by Radio Afinju.
Wherever you're listening or watching Radio Afinju, the time is 3 p.m.
First, a look at the highlights. Presidency kicks off $550 million Ubeta upstream gas project. Armed men strike military school in Mali capital. Trump escapes assassination attempt at Gulf resort. Good afternoon and welcome to the World News on Radio Afinju. My name is Pearl Durotoye. The news in detail. The federal government of Nigeria has announced a $550 million upstream gas project with Total Energies for developing the Ubeta field, set to produce 350 million cubic feet of gas daily when operational. Special Advisor on Energy, Olu Verheyen, announced the project at the U.S.-Nigeria Strategic Energy Dialogue in Washington, D.C. The project is part of President Bola Tinubu's broader energy reforms aimed at improving energy security, attracting investments, and enhancing infrastructure without relying on external loans. These reforms include new executive orders designed to unlock up to $2.5 billion in oil and gas investments. The dialogue also saw the launch of the Clean Energy Alliance of Nigeria by the U.S. State Department to promote clean energy investment in the country. Verheyen expressed optimism about Nigeria's energy sector and its role in meeting climate commitments. Chief of Air Staff Azan Abubakar announced the deployment of a quick response wing to Nigeria's northwest region to enhance military presence and address security concerns. This unit will be on standby to respond to emergencies as part of the Nigerian Air Force's intensified efforts against criminal activities. The announcement came during a visit to the air component of Operation Hadarin Daji and the 213 Forward Operating Base in Katsina State. Group Captain Kabiru Ali confirmed that the Quick Response Wing aims to bolster airstrikes and protect local farmers. Governor Diko Rada supported the initiative, expressing confidence that the increased military presence will ensure safety for the upcoming harvest season and improve regional security. Akwa Ibom State Governor Umar Eno has announced a 60 billion naira allocation to Ibom Air for purchasing 2 new Bombardier CRJ-900 aircraft, aiming to boost regional air transportation and support the airline's expansion. This investment reflects the state's commitment to enhancing infrastructure without resorting to external loans, showcasing prudent financial management. Governor Eno reviewed this plan during a meeting with the socio-cultural organization Umboho Mparawa Ibibio. He emphasized that this investment, alongside avoiding perpetual debt, underscores the administration's dedication to prudent fund management and strategic reinvestment in the state's development. Additionally, Governor Eno disclosed that 35 billion naira will be allocated by September 2024 to clear nearly half of the backlog in gratuity arrears owed to beneficiaries. This move is part of broader efforts to address outstanding financial obligations and support state employees. The governor praised Mboho Mparawa Ibibio for fostering unity among Akwa Ibom ethnic groups and receiving backing from the organization's international president, Akparawa James Edet, who endorsed Enel's second term due to his significant development agenda. A cholera outbreak in the Yola North local government area of Adamawa State has claimed at least 7 lives and led to the hospitalization of 71 others. According to the National Agency Management, NEMA, the outbreak was attributed to contamination of drinking water sources following recent floods. NEMA's statement on its X page noted that approximately 100 individuals are currently being monitored and observed for symptoms. The agency revealed that it is working closely with the state government to implement emergency measures to address the crisis and mitigate its effects. The flooding has severely impacted local water sources, exacerbating the cholera situation. NEMA's collaboration with state authorities aims to control the outbreak and provide necessary support to affected communities. In other parts of Africa, armed men attacked a military training camp in Bamako, Mali's capital, earlier today in what state television described as a terrorist attack. The assault targeted a gendarmerie school near the city's airport, and while gunfire and smoke were reported, the Office of Radio and Television of Mali, ORTM, stated the situation is now under control. Gunshots began around 5:30 local time, disrupting residents, including those heading to the mosque for morning prayers. The attack has prompted combined operations by security forces at the site. Mali has been grappling with Islamist insurgency for over a decade, exacerbated by a military coup in 2021, which saw the previous government ousted for failing to address the crisis. Despite the coup, violence has persisted. The identity of the attackers remain unclear, and the broader implications of the assault for Mali's ongoing security situation are still unfolding. The World Health Organization (WHO) Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus has warned of a dire situation in Sudan, where widespread starvation and displacement are affecting millions. The civil war, which erupted in April 2023 between Sudan's army and the Rapid Support Forces (RSF), has led to thousands of deaths and severe humanitarian needs. Tedros emphasized that nearly 25 million people in Sudan urgently require aid, yet the global response has been inadequate. He criticized the international community for not paying enough attention to Sudan compared to other crises. In August, a famine was declared at a camp near El Fasher in Darfur, impacting around 500,000 displaced people. Despite mediation efforts by Saudi Arabia and the US, the conflict persists, with accusations against the UAE for supporting the RSF and Saudi Arabia maintaining ties with the Sudanese government. In Asia, according to the military government, the death toll from Typhoon Yagi in Myanmar has surpassed 220, with nearly 80 people still missing. The storm, which struck in early September, has also caused significant damage in northern Vietnam, Laos, and Thailand, bringing the total death toll across the region to over 500. In Myanmar, the typhoon triggered severe floods and mudslides, destroying entire villages and causing widespread devastation. The impact has been severe, with hundreds of thousands of acres of crops lost. The United Nations has issued a warning that over 500,000 people in Myanmar are in urgent need of food as well as drinking water, shelter and clothing. The ongoing crisis has further worsened the difficulties in the war-torn country. Efforts are underway to address the immediate needs of the affected populations, but the scale of the disaster poses significant challenges for relief operations. The Indian state of West Bengal has agreed to remove the police chief of Kolkata and two senior health officials in response to protests by doctors over the rape and murder of a colleague. Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee announced these changes after a meeting with the protesting doctors. The strike, which began on August 9th, was triggered by the discovery of a 31-year-old female doctor's body at the state-run hospital where she worked. The incident has sparked nationwide outrage and raised concerns about the safety of health workers in India. A hospital volunteer has been arrested in connection with the crime, and the investigation has been taken over by a federal agency. The protesting doctors have demanded justice for the victim, the removal of senior officials, and improved security for health workers. Banerjee confirmed that the Kolkata Police Commissioner will be removed by Tuesday evening, along with other senior health officials. The government's response aims to address some of the doctors' key demands. While the decision has raised hopes for a return to work by junior doctors, protesters have stated that they will evaluate their next steps based on the government's implementation of the promised changes. In Europe, Dominique Pellicot, a Frenchman accused of drugging his wife and arranging for dozens of strangers to rape her over a decade, has admitted to the charges against him in a highly publicized trial. Prosecutors allege that Pellicot used a website to offer sex with his wife, Giselle Pellicot, and filmed the rape over several years. He is charged with rape, gang rape, and privacy breaches for recording and distributing the images, and is accused of drugging his wife to facilitate these attacks. Pellicot was arrested after being caught filming up a woman's skirt, which led police to discover evidence of his wife's repeated rapes on his computer. Alongside Pellicot, 50 men accused of assaulting Giselle Pellicot are also on trial in Avignon. Some of these men have claimed they believe the encounters were consensual, and if convicted, they face up to 20 years in prison. Meta has announced a ban on several Russian state media networks, accusing them of using deceptive tactics to influence operations and evade detection. The bans are expected to take effect within the next few days. This action represents a significant escalation in Meta's approach to Russian state media, building on previous measures that restricted Russian media's advertising and content reach. Following the outbreak of the Ukraine war, Meta and other platforms complied with EU, UK, and Ukrainian requests to block some Russian state media in those regions. Earlier this month, the US accused RT of funding the Tennessee firm $10 million to create and distribute content with hidden Russian government messaging, promoting right-wing narratives. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has since announced new sanctions against RT, calling it a de facto arm of Russia's intelligence apparatus and accusing it of attempting to undermine U.S. democracy. RT live-streamed Blinken's remarks, labeling them as part of a conspiracy theory. This ongoing scrutiny underscores the global tension surrounding Russian state media and its influence operations. In the Americas, a gunman who hid in the bushes for nearly 2 hours was arrested after a thwarted attempt to assassinate former President Donald Trump at his golf resort in West Palm Beach, Florida. The incident, which authorities say is the second assassination attempt on Trump in as many months, occurred on Sunday afternoon while Trump was playing golf at Trump International Golf Club. The gunman, 58-year-old Ryan Routh, was equipped with a semi-automatic rifle, 2 digital cameras, and a bag of food. He had been hiding since 1:59 a.m. local time. Routh, who had a criminal history and previously flagged by the FBI, escaped in a black Nissan but was apprehended about 40 minutes later on Interstate 95 after a civilian photographed his license plate. Routh appeared in Palm Beach court on Monday, charged with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon and possession of a firearm with an obliterated serial number. Further charges may follow. The suspect's long concealment and the timing of his actions have raised questions among locals and officials about whether he had prior knowledge of Trump's unplanned visit to the golf club. Secret Service Director Ronald Rowe noted that Trump's visit was not scheduled, prompting agents to hastily implement a security plan. The incident has left Trump's neighbors and security officials questioning how the gunman evaded detection for so long and whether the attack was premeditated or opportunistic. According to federal authorities, hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested in New York City on federal charges. The arrest follows raids on his properties in Los Angeles and Miami in March as part of an ongoing investigation into sex trafficking. Combs' attorney, Mark Agnifilo, expressed disappointment over the arrest, asserting that his client is an innocent man. The arrest is linked to an investigation by U.S. Homeland Security officials, as confirmed by U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Damian Williams. The indictment is expected to be unsealed on Tuesday morning, with more details to follow. The rapper has faced numerous allegations, including sexual assault and abuse from his ex-partner, Cassandra Ventura, among others. Combs has consistently denied all claims against him, describing the lawsuits as attempts to exploit him for financial gain. In the Middle East, according to a statement from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office, Israel has officially declared the safe return of residents to northern Israel as a key war objective. This decision comes amid ongoing attacks by Iran-backed Hezbollah from Lebanon, which have led to the evacuation of approximately 60,000 people from the region. The new war goal follows intensified cross-border hostilities that began on October 8, 2023, a day after deadly Hamas attack from Gaza. Hezbollah's involvement, which was seen as solidarity with Palestinians, has further complicated the situation. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant asserted that military action is the only viable solution to ensure the return of northern residents, highlighting the failure of diplomatic efforts as Hezbollah remains allied with Hamas. His remarks come amid speculation that Netanyahu might replace him due to differences over the Gaza conflict. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has warned of the severe consequences of further escalation, stressing the need for a ceasefire and diplomatic negotiations. Austin's concerns underline the broader regional implications of the ongoing conflict. The latest Israeli objectives build on previous goals, including the destruction of Hamas, the return of hostages taken during the October 7 attack, and neutralizing the threat from Gaza. A U.S. official has dismissed claims by a senior Houthi official that the U.S. offered to recognize the Houthi government in Sana'a to halt their attacks. The U.S. official, who spoke anonymously, described the claims as a total fabrication and criticized the Houthi propaganda as generally unreliable and misleading. The Houthi official, al-Bukaiti, alleged that the US and the UK, through mediators, had indirectly reached out to the group with threats of direct military intervention against countries supporting Gaza. These comments followed a significant escalation when a ballistic missile launched by the Iran-aligned Houthis struck central Israel for the first time. In response, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed that Israel would impose a severe cost on the Houthis. Now talking sports, Super Falcons midfielder Ngozi Okobi has announced the birth of a child on social media. The announcement was made with a celebratory message and photos of her baby bump, marking a personal milestone for the athlete. Okobi, who kept her pregnancy private, had prior to this had only posted occasional updates related to her fitness and daily life. The footballer married Okiogene on December 9, 2017 in Delta State and continued her career until recently. Okobi has been a prominent player for Nigeria in several international tournaments, including the FIFA Women's World Cup and the Africa Women's Cup of Nations (WAFCON). Despite her notable career, Okobi was not included in the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup squad by former coach Randy Waldrum and has not returned to the national team since then. Before we go, here again are the highlights. The federal government has announced a $550 million upstream gas project with Total Energies for developing the Ubeto field, set to produce 350 million cubic feet of gas daily when operational. Armed men attack a military training camp in Bamako, Mali's capital, early this morning in what state television described as a terrorist attack. In the Americas, a gunman who hid in the bushes for nearly 12 hours was arrested after a thwarted attempt to assassinate former President Donald Trump at his golf club in West Palm Beach, Florida. That was the world news on Radio Afinju. To view our channel, please follow us on Facebook, Radio Afinju, X, Radio Afinju, and YouTube, Afinju FM. My name is Pearl Durotoye. Thanks for listening. Good afternoon.